Hi, in this video we'll be treating another African prose called Lonely Days by Bayo Adebowale. At the end of this video, we'll be able to give a plot account of Lonely Days by Bayo Adebowale. Also, the setting used in the story, also the themes embedded in Lonely Days. Also, we'll be able to give an account of the characters, language and style used by Bayo Adebowale to drive home his message in Lonely Days. And at the end, we will treat past questions on SSC and UTME that are likely to come up in Lonely Days. Hi, this video will be giving a plot account of Lonely Days by Bayo Adebowale. It is a story that talks about the plight of widowhood in Africa at large. It uses the protagonist, Yaremi, as a yardstick to give an account of all the things widows go through losing their husbands. It begins with a perfect family of Ajimobi and Yaremi, who had 3 children, and the unfortunate incidents of the untimely death of Ajimobi. Yaremi went through all the ordeals as she was supposed to as a widow in Kofi. Her head was shaven as one of the rites to go through losing their husband. Even while shaving the hair, she had cuts on her head. She was also locked in a dark room, showing the view that she had a hand in losing her husband. Before all this and before all these tragedies, she had a very peaceful life with Ajimobi, but losing her husband brought all these tragedies. There's another superstitious belief that the husband of a woman in Kufi dying untimely, it means the woman is a witch and having a hand in the death of the husband, and that was seen as a result incorporated with Jeremy's ordeals. She went through all this, even compared to that of Fayanye, Radike, and Edewe, who went through all this in the latter time before Ajimobi's case. She went through all this, and then it came to a time where they needed to give Jeremy another husband as one of the rights and customs of Kufi, but she refused. She was a very determined woman, very assertive. She, despite her losing her husband and not having anybody to fight for her because her children were not around. They all are married, and the son, who is Alani, went away for greener pastures. So she was alone with her grandson, Woye. She had nobody to fight for her. She had nobody to speak on her behalf. The elders of Kofi wanted her to have another husband, but she refused. She saw no need of having another husband, even being a grandmother. So that was the major straw that broke the camel's back in the plight of Yaremi. She fought through it and then down the consequences of the elders of Kofi, and that's it of Yaremi. In our next video, we'll be discussing the setting, language and style used by Bayo Adebowale in Lonely Days. Hi, in this video we'll be talking about the setting, language and style used by Bayo Adebowale in Lonely Days. The setting of Lonely Days is set in Kofi, which is a fictitious village made up by Bayo Adebowale to drive home its major themes, message embedded in Lonely Days. It is this rural, rustic, typical village of the Yoruba setting in Nigeria, which is bordered by rivers, hills and what have you. It has a typical setting of a Yoruba land where the customs and traditions of the people are held highly. The people of Kofi are mostly farmers. They derive their daily bread from farming, hard work and concentration to what they actually need. And that's that for the setting. And talking of the language and style, the diction and the language used by Bayo Adebowale to drive home its message is simple and easy words that a layman can understand. It is a very direct language used by Bayo Adebowale to drive home its themes and information embedded in Lonely Days. The point of view used by Bayo Adebowale is the third person omniscient point of view, whereby you can hear the thoughts and you can hear the intentions of characters even before the characters actually performing them. It gives us a very platform for us to really understand the book very well. Another style used by Adebowale to drive home its message is flashback. With the use of flashback, we're made to understand events that were not really incorporated from the beginning of the story. Jeremy actually had to reminisce on those actions that had happened from before in order for us to understand the present. He made use of flashback for us to synchronize the past events with the present events for us to be able to understand the book Lonely Days very well. So this is pretty much what it needs on setting language and style of Lonely Days by Bayo Adebowale. The next video will be treating the themes embedded in Lonely Days. Hi, in this video we'll be talking about the themes embedded in Lonely Days by Bayo Adebowale. One of the themes embedded in Lonely Days by Bayo Adebowale is the plight of widow. This theme is very strong and very circumstant in Lonely Days because it highlights all the woes and all the plights widows go through losing their husbands. It is highlighted to show the injustices faced by widows by just losing their husbands. Yaremi was used as a yardstick to highlight all this. She faced so many ordeals, so many injustices just by losing Ajimobi, her husband. The plight of widow is the major focus in Lonely Days. Another theme embedded in Lonely Days is beliefs and superstition. The people of Kufi, which is a superstitious well-grounded, culture-driven society, believes in so many superstitious stuff. Some of it are the hawkbird perching on any household is seen as a bad omen. It is also seen that the hawkbird is a transformation of witches in human form into birds-like. These beliefs and superstitions change and build their beliefs and their attitudes towards their daily living in Kofi. This was seen in whereby a bird actually perched on Yaremi's roof, and it was seen that it was a bad omen and that Yaremi really had a hand in Ajimobi's death. Another thing is wife inheritance. This is seen where Alani, the kinsman of Ajimobi, seen as a right to inherit Yaremi after the death of Ajimobi. It is held sacrosanct in Kofi that any woman that the husband dies, the kinsman of that lineage inherits such a wife. But in the case of Yaremi, she refuses because she's so adamant, she's so headstrong, and she's so bent on doing her bidding and her will, not that of the culture or the elders of Kofi. Another theme embedded in Lonely Days is death. It is made Lonely Days drives home the theme of death, that it is so certain that one will die, and then with the death of a person actually comes misfortunes and misgivings. This was seen in the life of Yaremi when she actually lost her husband Ajimobi. Thereafter, it brought in hardship, it brought in evil perspective of the people towards Yaremi. Also, another thing is marriage. The Lonely Days drives home the theme of marriage, that for a marriage to work, it actually comes with commitment, resourcefulness, and love that bounds both couple in the marriage. This was seen with Ajimobi and Yaremi, who love each other despite everything they see around them. The last thing is hard work and courage. Hard work and courage is driven in Lonely Days from the character Yaremi. She's so hardworking and courageous to face the elders who are bent on dealing with her because she's not really going through or not really answering their whims and caprices. She's so hardworking despite she's all alone with the only help of Boye, her grandson, to lend her. She's an epitome of hard work compared to the maidens in Kofi. So these are pretty much the themes in Lonely Days. In the next video, we'll be treating characterization, the characters in Lonely Days. Hi, in this video, we'll be treating characterization, that is, the characters that play in Lonely Days. One of the characters in Lonely Days is Yaremi, which is the major character. She's the protagonist that drives home the message embedded in Lonely Days. Yaremi is a very strong-headed woman, very determined woman, very hardworking. She is so beautiful that despite she's a grandmother, men actually wanted her as their third or fourth wives. Having lost her husband, she is the driven force of courage and hard work that one can actually pass through any culture and any superstitious belief. She is bent on moving through and passing across the culture that holds Kofi together by seeing widows as witches, seeing widows as they should be alone. They should be under the roof of and under the care under the inclinations of a man. She is the protagonist of Lonely Days. Another character is Ajimobi. Ajimobi is the husband to Jeremy. He died untimely due to a very brief illness he suffered as they lived together. Ajimobi is seen in the reminiscences of Jeremy as a very hardworking man, a very lovable man, despite what's happening around them in Kofi, where husbands maltreat their wives. Ajimobi loved Jeremy while he was alive. He's used as a perfect example to drive home the idea that a marriage can actually be blissful. He actually loved Jamil very well. So that's that. Another character is Boye. Boye is the grandson of Yaremi, the son of Yaremi's first child, a woman. Boye is a very stubborn child, a typical child as he is. He doesn't really like doing the house chores in the house. He doesn't really like being hardworking as his grandmother. He's seen always as a child that likes the outdoor nature, always going out to play, always going out to do things his mates are doing. He's very playful as Jeremy sees him. Another character is Segi. Segi is the first daughter of Jeremy. She is the mother to Boye. Another character is Anyewale, Olunade, and Lawa. These three characters are the suitors that actually wanted Jeremy to be their wives. They came one after the other, wooing Jeremy in order for her to give in to their attributes. Anyewale was a drummer, a very good drummer, a very good entertainer in Kofi. So he saw that being a very good entertainer, he would lure Jeremy to becoming his wife. Olunade is a wood carver. He's seen as a very good carver that can carve anything out of the wood. So he thought that with those attributes of himself, he can actually woo Jeremy. And Lanwa is the half brother to Ajimobi. So seeing that he is actually a member of the Kingsmen in the family of Ajimobi, he can actually have the right to inherit Jeremy after the death of Ajimobi. Another character is Alani. Alani is the third child and the only son of Ajimobi and Jeremy. He never actually paid any attention or concern about the woes the mother is facing due to the death of Ajimobi. He is seen in Ibadan doing his business as a furniture maker. Another character is Roba. Roba is the flute player in Kofi. Whenever there is any ceremony going on in Kofi, especially in the cap picking for Jeremy, he was seen playing a very beautiful melody from the flute. Another character is Uncle Deyo. Uncle Deyo is the the closest friend to Ajimobi while he was alive. He is seen as someone that Jeremy and Alani could actually go to and rest their shoulders on as a result of all the challenges they are facing losing their fathers. These are pretty much the characters we can find, the major characters we can find in Lonely Days. The next video will be treating past questions in preparation for your exams as students.